950. Real Texas, Real Talk. KPRC Houston, an iHeart radio station.
All right, made in America. Do you remember which administration was it? I have a hard time keeping track of each administration now. Was it the Obama administration that said that manufacturing jobs, the manufacturing jobs that we used to have in the United States, they're not coming back? They'd all been shipped overseas. They're not coming back. And then the Trump administration managed to get some of those jobs back. And now we might be getting at least some of those American jobs that are been left to overseas companies that we used to do here, more of them back just because we've had a little bit of a wake-up call. It's called supply chain issues. And nobody knows that better than automotive. General Motors was the number one, for 90 years, the number one automotive manufacturer in the country. They sold more cars than anybody else. It is now Toyota. And the reason why Toyota overtook General Motors is really quite simple. They had microchips for their cars to manufacture their cars when GM didn't. They had stockpiled those materials. GM didn't. And it led to them building 143,000 less cars than they did the year before, and that's why they're number two. James Crean joins us, supply chain expert based right here in Texas. James, welcome to AM 950 KPRC. I can't think of a better example of why we need to bring manufacturing back here than General Motors. Can you?
I think that you're absolutely right. I think it's coming back whether, no matter what. I think there's a lot of forces that are bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. and I welcome it. I think it's fantastic. And the supply chain issues have just accelerated it and highlighted it in a lot of different ways. But it's great, and it's great for America. It's critically important for America and our future.
Well, somebody in your world understands that. I think I understand that. I think that state government understands that. Does the federal government understand that, do you think? Or are they still kind of in denial over this whole supply chain problem?
I don't. I have so much more faith in the American entrepreneur than I do in the federal government being able to understand and interpret what's actually going on. So I think the real measure of what's going on in our country and this migration of manufacturing back is more about American entrepreneurialism than it is about the federal government getting it and encouraging it. Though I have to say that the tariffs that President Trump implemented certainly helped to kickstart it and accelerate it, and the supply chain issues have certainly helped to bring it to light as well. So,
yeah. We all kind of went to this business model of two different things. We used to stockpile materials or have materials ready, and we kind of got away from that, didn't we? We kind of got it into a situation where you order it as you need it, and a lot of businesses did that to run leaner and meaner, but they kind of got caught with their pants down with this going on, because you can't afford to do that if you don't have. If you're not getting the materials from wherever you can get them and stockpiling them so they're there when you need them, you're losing out to your competition.
Yeah, it's interesting because you opened with the issue of Toyota overtaking GM largely because of the supply chain issues, and the Toyota production system is famous for just-in-time manufacturing and that minimum inventory approach, but the reason that they were successful for a lot longer in being able to deliver cars through this was because they actually had stockpiled a lot of those chips because of the tsunami that hit Japan a number of years ago, and it was a mandate that was put in place to increase inventory levels. So you have to manage the risks. It's very important. I think business owners have to manage those risks. If you have a long supply chain that goes from here to China, you have a lot of risks you have to manage. The shorter you make that supply chain, the more you can rely on local manufacturing. The more you have visibility and control over what's going on, which is something we really focus in at our company with our clients.
James, for a long time there, it was just how cheaply can we produce something to maximize profits. And I understand that that's what every business is there to do, is to make money. But I wonder, as we take a look at, reestablishing manufacturing here in this country in some areas that have been dormant for a while, is it still going to be about price? Are we still going to worry about that? Or are we just going to worry about being able to produce something, produce a good quality something that you can get when you need it, even if you have to pay more for it?
Well, it's interesting. So we work with our clients, at Crean Inc. We work with our clients to answer that kind of problem and answer that question. The thing to understand is that American productivity is 8 times higher than in China. And even though Chinese workers get paid, maybe 5 times less than an American worker, when you do the math, you actually can produce stuff cheaper here. Think about it, right? We outsource all of this simple, easy manufacturing that's actually low labor content manufacturing to China to produce all these, these low-end goods and whatnot. And that's the cheapest labor, that's the lowest labor content, right? It doesn't really make sense. It's a business model that's been pushed. I don't know why, but finally, I think we're finally waking up to the fact that you can actually build it cheaper here in the United States, as well as build a much better quality product. And the most important thing is you can be much more responsive to your customer, because you don't have a supply chain that's 3 to 6 to 9 months long, right? It's not a matter of miles; it's a matter of time, and that's the thing that is critical. That short time frame gives you flexibility, and it's amazing what you can do with flexibility, and if you truly understand what your customer wants.
I know there's a semiconductor a company called Micron. I think everybody's probably heard that name. I don't know where they're based out of now, but I hear that they're scouting Central Texas locations to build a major factory. Where's that in the pipeline? Any idea?
Say that again. Sorry.
Where's that? Where is it in the process at this point? Is it something that is likely to happen? If they found a location, if they have picked a location, how long before they're up and running? What can you tell us about them?
Well, it's a big investment, right? It takes a while to get all the equipment and everything that you need to build a fab. But Micron is, I've heard the same thing, that Micron is looking to move to Central Texas. Central Texas has a very long history of fantastic semiconductor manufacturing, as well as all the companies that build the equipment for semiconductor manufacturing. And so it's a great place to do it, and I think Samsung is building a plant fab here, as well as others, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Micron move here. It's a very solid place to do business, since as everybody that works here knows. So it's a great environment. It's a great business environment in Texas, and so it wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either. And
it does take a long time to build it out.
I'm sure it does. But we're already seeing all the other American manufacturers. We're getting a lot of those. I mean, Tesla has moved here. We are attracting major corporations and major businesses from all around the country. We aren't just competing at this point with the world. We're competing with our fellow states, companies that have been in California that have found the regulatory environment just prohibitive at this point. The taxes are too high. Government's too involved in their business, and they're looking for a much more free state to be able to conduct their business in. And it seems to me right now, Texas, maybe Florida to a certain extent, although they could flip back, but Texas seems to be the top choice at this point.
No question. Texas has created an amazing business environment. Governor Abbott has done a great job of attracting business. It's sort of fun to watch the competition between him and Governor DeSantis in Florida for trying to attract businesses. No matter what they do, at the end of the day, it's not about whether one of the two of them wins. No matter what, American business wins and American entrepreneurs win by them trying to outdo each other on how do we make those two states more business friendly. So they've created an environment that has been really strong for business, and it's our business moved from California to a large degree into Texas. Our headquarters is in Texas because it's just a much better place to do business. I wouldn't even consider starting a new business in California into the way that the government interacts with and gets into how you do your business continuously. So it's a great place to do business. I think companies are recognizing that. Elon Musk is not. He didn't become the richest guy in the world by being dumb, right?
No,
so I think
he makes good decisions, generally speaking. James, before we let you go here, tell me about your business, exactly what it is you do. I know you're a innovation company. I know that you work on product delivery, integrated engineering, smart manufacturing. You work with all kinds of companies. What is it you do for them?
We do a number of things for companies that are already established here. We help them to become more productive and more efficient as their company is growing. We help them to be able to produce more with the same resources that they have, and ultimately make more money and be more flexible and responsive to their customers. And then we also help companies to bring their business back from their manufacturing back from overseas. And we love doing that. We work with companies to just lay out all the details. How do you accomplish that? There's a lot of the companies that we work with, actually, they don't know anything about manufacturing. They just sort of outsourced it to China, and they want to bring it back to the United States for all the reasons and more that we've talked about. And we've walked them through that process and help them to get their supply chain set up and set up their factories and what have you, or work with manufacturers here that can do their business. So, so it's great. We love working with American companies, helping them grow, become more efficient, implement technology, but also look at their people and their processes and how to make their people more successful and their processes more efficient. It's not all about technology. Smart factories are about people, process, and technology, and so that's with the Crean Inc. team. That's what we do. We help companies to do that, and we also have a whole an engineering arm that is out of the aerospace industry, and we do all kinds of cool stuff like going back to the moon and things like that from that. So it's a multifaceted company, but at the end of the day, we help companies accelerate their engineering and manufacturing so that they can be incredibly successful.
Well, good stuff, and continued success to you and your company, and thanks for joining me today. It was a pleasure talking to you.
No, thank you. I appreciate the time, and look forward to talking to you again.